Imagine walking your dog on a quiet evening, the sun dipping low, casting golden light across your peaceful neighborhood. Your little pup's tail wags, sniffing every blade of grass, happy as can be. Then, out of nowhere, a massive dog charges at you, teeth flashing, barking like it wants to tear you apart. Your heart races, your stomach drops, and you scoop up your dog, praying you're fast enough. The owners? They're home, but they don't care. They let their beast roam free, terrorizing everyone and act like it's your problem. That's what happened to me. For months, I dealt with fear, frustration, and disrespect. But one day, I'd had enough. I wasn't just going to walk away. I was going to make them regret it. With a smelly, satisfying act of revenge that left the whole neighborhood cheering. Stick around, because this story is going to hit you right in the feels. If you've ever been pushed around, ignored, or disrespected by someone who thought they could get away with it, this one's for you. Smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss a single tale of justice served. If you love dogs and hate irresponsible pet owners, you're in for a treat. This Reddit revenge story starts with terror, builds with frustration, and ends with a payoff so good, you'll be grinning ear to ear. Get comfy and let's dive in. My name's Alex, and I live in a cozy suburban neighborhood. Think tree-lined streets, kids on bikes, and neighbors waving as they mow their lawns. It's the kind of place where you feel safe, where you can let your guard down. I've got a little dog named Milo, a 15-pound terrier mixed with a scruffy beard and a heart bigger than the body. Milo's my best buddy. Every evening, we'd take our walks, his tiny legs trotting along, sniffing every mailbox, chasing the occasional butterfly. I'm a good dog owner. I keep Milo on a leash, pick up his messes, and make sure he's never a bother. Neighbors love him. They'd toss him treats, scratch his ears, and tell me how cute he is. Life was good, perfect even, until they moved in. A few blocks away on Elm Street, a new family showed up. A young couple, Jake and Sarah, with a toddler and a dog. Their house was picture perfect. A neatly trimmed lawn, flowers blooming by the porch, a shiny SUV parked in the driveway. They looked like they had it all together, like they belonged on a magazine cover for Suburban Bliss. But looks can lie, and I was about to find out just how careless these people were. It was a crisp fall evening, the air smelling of leaves, the sky painted orange and pink. Milo and I were on our usual route, a couple blocks from home, just enjoying the quiet. I was lost in thought, thinking about dinner, when a deep, guttural growl snapped me back to reality. My skin prickled. Across the street, a massive dog stood, staring us down. He was huge, at least 80 pounds, with a broad head, dark fur, and eyes that locked onto Milo like he was prey. Before I could move, he charged, tearing across the street, barking so loud it echoed off the houses. His teeth gleamed, saliva dripping as he closed the distance. My heart slammed against my ribs. Milo whimpered, his little body shaking against my leg. I scooped him up, clutching him tight, his tiny heart pounding against my chest. No, I yelled, stepping forward, trying to make myself big. Get back! Go home. My voice cracked, raw with panic. The dog slowed, his lips curled in a snarl, but he didn't back off. I kept yelling, my throat burning, until he finally turned and slunk back to his yard. I stood there, shaking, Milo trembling in my arms. I looked at their house. The lights were on. Someone was home. They had to have heard the barking, my shouting, but the door stayed shut. No one came out. No apology. Nothing. I walked home, my legs wobbly, my mind racing. Every step, I kept seeing those teeth, hearing that growl. Milo was quiet, his tail tucked, his usual bounce gone. That night, I barely slept. I kept replaying it, wondering what if I hadn't been fast enough. What if that dog had gotten to Milo, my little guy, who'd never hurt anyone, who loved everyone? The thought twisted my stomach, a mix of fear and anger I couldn't shake. I started avoiding Elm Street. I mapped out new routes for Milo's walks, sticking to quieter streets, always checking over my shoulder. But the stories started piling up. Mrs. Carter, a sweet retiree who walked her poodle every morning. said the dog had chased her across a lawn, nearly knocking her over. She was shaking when she told me, her hands clutching her coffee mug. A kid named Timmy said he crashed his bike trying to outrun it, scraping his knees bloody. Another neighbor, Lisa, said she'd stopped jogging because she didn't feel safe. And then there was the poop, massive piles of it, fresh and stinking, showing up on sidewalks, lawns, even in the street, always near Elm Street. It didn't take a detective to know who was responsible. I saw the dog a few times, always from a distance. He'd be loose in their front yard, pacing like he owned the block. Jake and Sarah didn't seem to care. I'd see them on their porch, sipping coffee, scrolling on their phones while their dog roamed free. Once, I watched him chase a jogger, barking like a beast. The jogger sprinted away, her face pale with fear. Jake looked up, shrugged, and went back to his phone. Sarah laughed like it was no big deal. My blood boiled. These people weren't just negligent. They were arrogant. They acted like their dog behavior was our problem, like we were the ones who had to deal with it. The disrespect ate at me. I'm not a confrontational guy. I'd rather avoid drama than start it. But every new story, every new pile of poop made that anger grow. It wasn't just about Milo anymore. It was about Mrs. Carter, scared to walk her poodle. It was about Timmy, afraid to ride his bike. It was about the whole neighborhood, dealing with their mess. I started imagining confronting them, knocking on their door, telling them to leash their dog. But I could already hear their response. Jake's smug laugh, Sarah's eye roll. It's just a dog, relax. No, a confrontation wouldn't work. They'd brush me off, just like they brushed off everyone else. I needed something else, something that would hit them where it hurt. The neighborhood started talking. Mrs. Carter organized a meeting at her house. A small group of us crammed into her living room, sipping tea and swapping stories. Lisa suggested a petition demanding Jake and Sarah control their dog or face complaints of animal control. We all signed it, even Timmy's mom, who was furious about his bike crash. I helped draft the letter, my hands shaking as I typed, pouring our frustration into every word. We slid it under their door, expecting change. Days passed. Nothing. The dog was still loose. The poop piles kept appearing. Jake and Sarah didn't even acknowledge it. They just kept living their perfect little life, acting like we didn't exist. It was a sunny Saturday morning when I hit my breaking point. Milo and I were on our detour route, a block over from Elm Street. The air was warm, the kind of day that makes you want to linger outside. Milo was sniffing a patch of grass, his tail wagging, when I saw it, a pile of dog poop on the sidewalk. Then another, and another, an entire block littered with massive, fresh piles. The smell hit me like a wave. I clenched my fists, my jaw tight. I looked down the street, and there they were, Jake and Sarah, pushing a stroller with their toddler, their dog trotting beside them, leash dangling uselessly in Jake's hand. They were laughing, carefree, like the mess they'd left was invisible. Something snapped inside me. My chest burned, a hot, righteous anger I couldn't hold back. This wasn't just negligence. It was arrogance. They were flaunting their disregard, walking their dog without a care, leaving their mess for us to step in. I thought about Milo, trembling in my arms that first day. I thought about Mrs. Carter, too scared to walk her dog. I thought about the petition, ignored like it was nothing. I wasn't going to let this slide. Not today. I didn't confront them. I went home, Milo trotting beside me, oblivious to the storm in my head. I sat on my couch, staring at the wall, my mind racing. I wanted them to feel the consequences, to know their negligence wasn't invisible. That's when it hit me. Their poop problem was about to become their problem. I grabbed a plastic bag, a pair of gloves, and a small shovel from my garage. My heart pounded, not with fear, but with purpose. I walked back to that block, the sun climbing higher, the piles still fresh and reeking. One by one, I scooped them up, each one heavier than the last, the smell making my eyes water. I tied the bag shut, my hands steady despite the adrenaline. But I hesitated. Was this too much? Would I get caught? I thought about Milo, about the fear in his eyes that day. I thought about the neighborhood. Fed up and ignored. No, this was justice. I took a detour, straight to Elm Street. Their house was quiet. The SUV in the driveway, the lawn pristine as always. I glanced around. No one was watching. My pulse quickened, a mix of nerves and excitement. I untied the bag, reached in, and grabbed a handful of the mess. With a quick flick, I tossed it onto their lawn, right in the middle of their perfect grass. Then another, and another. By the time I was done, their lawn was a minefield, piles glinting in the sunlight. I stepped back, my chest heaving, a grin spreading across my face. Let them mow around that. I didn't stick around to watch, but I could imagine it. Jake, strutting out to mow his precious lawn, his pride and joy. He starts the mower, the hum filling the air. Then, splat, his foot lands in a pile, the smell hitting him like a slap. He freezes, looks down, sees the mess smeared across his sneakers. His face twists in disgust, maybe even rage. Sarah steps out confused, then gags as she sees the lawn littered with poop. Their perfect image shattered, their negligence thrown right back at them. I walked home, Milo's leash in one hand, the empty bag in the other. My heart felt lighter, like a weight had been lifted. For the first time in months, I felt in control. They'd ignored us, disrespected us, let their dog run wild. But now, they'd have to deal with the consequences. I could almost hear Jake cursing as he scrubbed his shoes, Sarah muttering about how gross it was. Good. Let them feel what we've been feeling. A week later, Mrs. Carter called me, her voice giddy. Jake had been out there with a shovel, cleaning the lawn, his face red with frustration. Sarah was seen walking the dog on a leash, actually on a leash for the first time in months. The piles on the block stopped appearing. The dog wasn't loose anymore. It wasn't a perfect victory, but it was enough. The petition hadn't worked, but a bag of poop had. The neighborhood noticed. Mrs. Carter baked me cookies. Timmy's mom gave me a high five. We'd taken our block back. Revenge doesn't fix everything. It doesn't erase the fear I felt that day or the months of dodging their dog. But sometimes a little pushback, a little poetic justice, can remind people that their actions have consequences. I didn't hurt anyone, didn't break any laws. I just gave them a taste of their own medicine. And maybe, just maybe, they'll think twice before letting their dog run wild again. Karma's funny like that. It doesn't always come with a bang, but when it lands, it feels so good. What do you think? Did they deserve it? Would you have done the same? If the story made you laugh, cheer, or just nod in satisfaction, smash that like button and tell us in the comments. What's the pettiest revenge you've ever pulled or wanted to? Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss our next tale of justice served. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.